So when you come to the realization and accept yourself for who you are, of course, while doing things to see that you grow to who you want to become, it brings you really closer to your financial goals. And I'm not kidding, I'm saying this out of experience, because at this point, you know what you like, what you don't like, you're aware of things that you're into. So it's very easy for you to give up on certain stuffs that used to feel like the it things prior to when you knew yourself. In knowing myself, I noticed that there are some things that I just don't care about. So in this video, I'm going to be sharing my 5 years frugal plan that will get me 2 million naira closer to my saving goals for 30. I am naturally a simple and frugal person, but hold up, before you start judging, there's a very big difference between cheap and frugal, although some people might not agree. So I'm just going to use this analogy. So there's a person that wants to go for shopping, right? And she wants to get a blender. I don't know what my problem with blender is, but anyway, she wants to get a blender. So she walks into a shopping mall and she goes to the aisle where kitchen blenders are being sold. Now there are 3 sets of blender that are on display. The first one is a fairly used. It costs just 10,000 naira, but we all know that it's going to give her issues. The second one goes for 25,000 naira, and all it does is mashes up food items. The third one is a 3-in-1 blender, so it performs 3 functions. It mashes up food, there's a juicer, and then there's a mixer. In this shopping scenario, now this woman went in to that shopping mall because she needed a blender that would mash up her food items. Now, what a cheap person would do is go for the 10K blender, because why? The price is lesser. Even if she knows that it's going to give her lots of stress when she's using it, but just because the price is lesser, she's going to go for it anyways. A frugal person is going to go for the 25K blender because you had the intention to get a blender that is just going to mash up your food items. You don't need a juicer, you don't need a mixer. So the difference between a cheap and a frugal person is, one, which is the cheap person only cares about the price, but the frugal person just cares about getting what he or she needs, and that's it. I try as much as I can to avoid unnecessary expenditures so that, you know, there's no waste at the end of the day. Sometime in the later part of 2021, I cut my hair. So this is what I look like without the wig and all. So like I said, I cut my hair in the later part of 2021. So what happened all through 2022 if I wasn't making hair? I should have been saving all that money. That's what a wise person would do, but no. I wasn't conscious of that. That's why I say all the time, when it comes to money, you have to be conscious of this stuff. The little things, the big things, they all matter. I would have been saving every money that I would have been using to make my hair in 2022, but yeah, I didn't save it up, and that's why I'm making this video, because there are so many things that we cut back on every day. But if someone was to ask us, where else did you put that money, we would not have answers to that question. So in cutting back on stuff, you don't just want to cut back on them, but you want to make sure that that money that you would have been using for that stuff is going into something instead that is going to get you closer to your goal in any ramification of your life. So here are 5 simple things that I am cutting back on that will get me 2 million naira closer to my savings goals for 30. The first thing is house rent. I'm not going to lie you. I'm not going to lie. I have never ever paid house rent in my entire life. And that is all thanks to my auntie that gave I and my cousin this free space, staying for free. I'm super grateful, super appreciative of it. And to show you how frugal I am, the only space that I use in this house is my room and the kitchens. The living room space is an empty, echoing area because we honestly do not have the need for it. And imagine how much I would have been spending for house rent at this young age of mine, that I'm supposed to be gathering all the ego that I can. Imagine. And aside that, sometime in 2021, I got a job at a commercial bank. Now, the distance from where I stay to town is a bit much. So I had the intention of moving, closer to town. But thank God I did not do. Thank God I became aware of financial freedom and I started making plans towards it. So I stayed back here. And honestly, the only thing that will take me out of this place that I am now, living this free life, is one, relocation or marriage. And I don't think that is happening anytime soon. And the other thing is my auntie kicking me out, which is highly unlikely to happen. So yes, we stay until that time comes. If I was to move, of course, I'll be going for a self-con. And a self-con currently in Egua ranges from 120,000 naira to 300k. And as the frugalist that I am, if I was to get a space that is not here, I would go for something that, would go for 150,000 naira. So imagine saving 150,000 naira per year times 5 years. That is 750k. So house rent is going to enable me save 750k by the time I'm 30. The first step when it comes to money or saving money at all is discipline and consciousness. I say this because I've been living here for 3 years, and if I was conscious of the fact that, okay, maybe this money you've been saving from paycheck and other side hustles, you can actually, if you were paying rent, you would have been paying 150k a year. Why don't you just divide 150k by 12 months and start saving? Like I was not conscious of the facts, and that's why I didn't save anything or invest anything. But now that I am, I'm going to be taking these steps moving forward. The next thing is data subscription. This one, when I came to know this one, like, I was just wowed because I was just so surprised at myself. Last year, the company I was working for was doing 5k data for me monthly. But after I looked at my money tracker app, and I realized that I was spending, that's aside this 5k data, I was spending 6,000 naira every month on data subscription. And I now asked myself, for what? What am I doing with 80 gig worth of data? So what I have done this year is that I have put a timer on all my social media apps. As soon as I use it for 1 hour per day, it should take me off of it, because I don't understand that madness. What I'm going to be doing is spending just 3,000 naira. I will manage myself. I'll spend just 3,000 naira on data subscriptions monthly, and I'll try as much as I can to save the remaining 3k. That's 36,000 naira for the year and 180,000 naira for 5 years. It's been 2 months since I started this challenge of cutting back and saving. And I see that it is very much achievable as long as you put your mind towards it and you make it look achievable. I'll get to that in the later part of the video, so make sure you watch till the end, because there are some times that you cut back on things and make goals and all of that, but they'll be looking so big, and sometimes you just give up or you get tired. But when you try and make them into smaller chunks, you begin to feel it within you, like, this is very much achievable, and you put in the effort. The next is hairdos. I have never been that girl that fancied making hair. Like, not be my thing. It doesn't make me more beautiful. The only thing I know I feel when I make hair is that I feel more feminine. But aside that, it's very painful. You make hair one day, you go through pain for 1 week. I can't stand it. So the only thing I can do is wigs. At least for this part of my life, it's only wigs, because I know fit. So when I was making my hair, it's not as if I was, making hair every month, because there's wigs. Sometimes you go on, what do they call it, Simbi and all of that. So is it Simbi? You go on cornrows and all of that. So for the months that I made hair, let's say I made my hair maybe once in 2 months. So I was spending from like 8,000 to 12,000 naira, but I'm just going to be saving 8,000 naira per month for 6 months. And that is going to get me 48,000 naira by year 1 and 240,000 naira by year 5. The next thing is eating out. Anybody that knows me knows that baby loves to clean. When it comes to cleaning, I can clean from 8 a.m. to 6 p.m. and I would still be smiling. But when it comes to cooking, it's not my forte. Not that I can't cook, but I just find it really tiring, especially as I live alone. It's quite exhausting to, actually go to the market and cook, and then you cook that meal and then you're eating alone. It's very boring to eat alone, and then after that first time, you find it hard to eat that same meal. The point is, I do not actually enjoy cooking, which means that I spend quite an amount eating out. But this year, we say no to that. No. I am trying as much as I can to cook as often as I can. I'm not doing it every day, but as often as I can. So when it comes to eating out, there isn't a specific amount monthly. From my app, I see that I get shawarma like twice a month, and that's 4,000 naira. And then with other blah, 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 blah that I still get out, it amounts to at least from 10 to 15,000 naira. So what I'm going to be doing is saving 8,000 naira for eating out. There's something I heard somewhere, and I think it's really, really good. For anything you spend, make sure you save the equivalent. That has also helped me. So for this purpose, 8,000 naira for the year, it's 96,000 naira, and for 5 years, it's 480k just for eating out. The next thing is my bathing soap. Like I said earlier, you'll be surprised at how much you're spending at all these little things that you think are not taking your money. Me, couple of years ago, I was on my own. I was using Dudu Oshun. Dudu Oshun at that time was going for 400 naira. I don't like to stress myself. I was using Dudu Oshun. One of my friends now came and met me and said, "That's my age. Why will I be using 400 naira soup? That I should stop using it. I should use Dove." And I'm not going to lie, Dove is a good body wash. I can say that for sure. But I guess I'm just into things that are black, black soap. When I was in secondary school, I was using Cottage Fresh, but I don't know, for some reason, after secondary school, I just couldn't find it in any supermarkets around me. But last year, December, I walked into a supermarket and I saw it and I grabbed it with my heart because I've been looking for it for a very long time. I even checked Jumia like a couple of times and I couldn't find it. So Cottage Fresh is what I'm using now. And here's the thing that I love most about this soap. I use it for 2 months, so I have to buy it once in 2 months, and it goes for 3,000 naira. So it's saving me 18,000 naira in the year, and that's 90,000 naira for 5 years. So in total, that's 750,000 naira for house rent, 180,000 naira for data subscription, 240,000 naira for hairdos, 480,000 naira for eating out, and 90,000 naira for my bathing soap, which amounts to 1.740 million naira. Now, it might not sound much to some people and it might sound much to some people, but in my case, it's not about how big or how little. It's about it getting me closer to my investment goal. Now, it's 1.7 million naira. It's not exactly 2 million, but I'm not just going to be saving this money. I'm actually going to be investing it. So from now till 5 years' time, it's actually going to grow me more closer to 2 million naira, if not 2 million naira by that time. So some things you work for and other things, they're just like bonuses. If you're not conscious about what you're spending money on, you cannot really save money. It's just the truth about it. Now, 1.7 million naira might sound like such a huge amount. So what I have done to simplify it for myself, that's what I was talking about earlier in the video about goals and objectives, because something might look so big, but when you break it down into smaller chunks, they seem so achievable. So for the 5 years now, I have divided 1.740 million naira by 5 years, and that's 345,000 naira per year. And 345,000 naira divided by 12 months is 29,000 naira monthly. It has become so small and man, it's really achievable. I mean, it's just 29,000 naira. So these are the things that I have decided to cut back on, and it has been, an amazing journey thus far. And I'm just glad that I came to realize this and I'm making actionable steps towards it. I really hope you got something out of this video. Let me know in the comments what you will be cutting down on or cutting back on to get to your savings and investment goals. Thank you for watching today's video. I'll see you next week.